Hi guys, in today's video we are going to see how to prepare alcohols. First let's see what are the starting materials that we can use to prepare these alcohols. The first one is alkenes, next carbonyl compounds and Grignard reagents. You can prepare alcohols from all these starting materials. And remember one thing, for learning and writing these organic equations without mistakes, the first thing is to know the structures very clearly. So when we say alkenes or carbonyl compounds or Grignard reagents, you should be very clear what are these compounds and what are the structures of these compounds. So first let's see those structures. The first one is alkene. What is an alkene? It's a carbon compound containing a double bond. It's an hydrocarbon. So you can write alkene like this. C double bond C. So if this part is present in your compound, then we call that as alkene. So what is an example of an alkene? Propene. CH3, CH double bond, CH2. So this is an example of alkene. Next one is carbonyl compounds. Those compounds which have this part, C double bond O part in their functional group, are called as carbonyl compounds. We have aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids and esters. They are collectively called as carbonyl compounds because they have C double bond O in their functional group. So first let's take aldehydes. The functional group for aldehyde is CHO. How can you write CHO the other way? C double bond OH. So this can be written as C double bond OH and the other side R. So C double bond O is present, so it is a carbonyl compound. What is R? It is an alkyl part. It can be methyl. So this is methyl. It can be methyl, ethyl, propyl, anything. Next one, ketones. See, in aldehydes we wrote C double bond O and H on one side and R on the other side. If you remove that H also and put one more R, then we call that as ketone. See, C double bond O, R, R. So this is an example of ketone. Next one is carboxylic acid. COOH is the functional group of carboxylic acid. So alkyl part, R, COOH is carboxylic acid, and again you can write the COOH as C double bond O, OH. Next one is ester. If you replace this H in carboxylic acid by an alkyl group, then we call that as ester. The functional group of ester is COO, or you can say C double bond O. So you have two R. See, these two R's need not be the same alkyl group. You can have methyl on one side and ethyl on the other side. In such cases, we used to write R, R dash to differentiate between the two alkyl groups. So all these four come under carbonyl compounds, and you can prepare alcohols from any of these carbonyl compounds. The next one is Grignard reagent. We have learned about Grignard reagent in the first chapter in organic, haloalkanes and haloarenes. What is the general formula for Grignard reagent? RMgX. And R is nothing but the alkyl part, Mg is magnesium, X is the halogen part. So an example of Grignard reagent, CH3MgBr. We call this as methyl magnesium bromide. Instead of this alkyl part, you can have aryl part also, C6H5MgBr, phenyl magnesium bromide. So these are the starting materials that we will be using to prepare alcohols. As I told you, to be very clear in writing the organic equation, you should know the structures of the compounds that we are using as starting materials, and at the same time you should know the name of the reactions and what are the reagents that we will be using. So you should know each word and their definition. First let's start from alkenes. You can prepare alcohols from alkenes by acid catalyzed hydration. What is hydration? When you treat a compound with water, then we call that process as hydration. And what is acid catalyzed? If a reaction is catalyzed by the presence of H plus or acid, then we call that as acid catalyzed. So what is acid catalyzed hydration? You're going to use H plus and H2O. So if you treat alkenes with these two, you're going to end up with alcohols. The next one is hydroboration oxidation. See, I said hydration is treating with water. Hydroboration is again treating with a compound having boron and hydrogen. Example of such a compound is diborane. See, BH3 twice, or you can call this as B2H6 diborane, and you can write this BH3 as HBH2 which means this part is going to be added to the compound, so we call that as hydro. And again, boron containing part is also going to be added to the starting material, so that is called as boration. So this, when you treat with this, that reaction is called as hydroboration. And the next one is oxidation, which means the step 2. You know what is oxidation? Adding oxygen to a compound is called as oxidation. So for that purpose, we are going to use the oxidizing agent H2O2, which is nothing but hydrogen peroxide. So if you use these two reagents, BH3 twice and H2O2, we call that reaction as hydroboration oxidation. And coming to the carbonyl compounds, see, by reduction of aldehydes and ketones, by reduction of carboxylic acids and esters. And again, you know what is reduction? Addition of hydrogen. So you can use different reducing agents like hydrogen, palladium, or instead of palladium, you can use nickel also, sodium borohydride, lithium aluminium hydride, or you can use both lithium aluminium hydride and water in the next step. So these are the examples of reducing agents. So when you add hydrogen to the starting material, then we call that reaction as reduction. So I hope you understood all the terms mentioned here. Now we will move on to the reactions. First, we are going to prepare alcohols from alkenes by these two methods, by acid catalyzed hydration, by hydroboration and oxidation. So from alkenes, by acid catalyzed hydration. See, this is the alkene part. Treating it with water in the presence of H+, it's a reversible reaction. So what happens? You have hydrogen and OH, which means H+ and OH-. You have a positive and a negative part. Now this is going to be added across this double bond, and this addition follows Markovnikov's rule. And let's recall, what is Markovnikov's rule? The negative part of the addentum goes to carbon with less number of hydrogen atoms. So in this case, we don't know how many hydrogens are here. So no problem wherever H or OH goes. So you can add H here and OH here. When there is an unsymmetrical alkene like propene, then the question arises, to which carbon hydrogen will go and to which carbon OH- will go. In that case, Markovnikov's rule will be followed. So OH- is the negative part here and H+ is the positive part. So the negative part of the addentum goes to carbon containing less number of hydrogen atoms. So this is the product and we call this as alcohol. Now let's see an example. I've taken the example of propene. See, CH3, CH double bond CH2, treating it with water in the presence of an acid, H+. Now we have H+ and OH-. And don't worry about this part. Whatever is present here, this will come in the product as such. You have to see only this carbon-carbon double bond. So now we have C1H and double bond C2H. And this carbon has less number of hydrogen and this carbon has more number of hydrogen comparatively. You have to compare only these two carbons. Now, as I told you by Markovnikov's rule, negative part will go to the carbon containing less number of hydrogen atom. And what is the negative part here? OH-. So CH will get the OH and this single bond will become, double bond will become a single bond and the H+ will go here. So CH2 will become CH3. So what is the product? CH3, CH single bond OH bond CH3. So this is nothing but propane 2-ol, because in second carbon we have alcohol part. So 2-ol, propane 3 carbon atoms, propane 2-ol. So this is the product. So in exams, they'll give you the starting material and these reagents and they'll ask you to predict the products. So when you use H2O and H+ as the reagents, then you'll get propane 2-ol following the Markovnikov's rule. Now let's see the mechanism followed by this reaction. How we get propane 2-ol from propene, or how you get alcohol from alkene. So in first step, what will happen? Electrophilic attack by H3O+ on alkene. When there is electrophilic attack on alkene, what happens is the alkene is protonated, which means a H is added to the alkene. So now see what happens. We have taken water, the presence of H+. So they both react to give you H3O+, which is hydronium ion. Now this hydronium ion is going to attack this alkene. Writing this mechanism is easy if you understand each and every step and put these arrows properly. So in exams, if they ask you the mechanism of hydration of alkenes to alcohols, you should write all these steps, and these arrows are very important. So in the first step, you are getting hydronium ion, and that is going to attack the alkene part. How do we get this hydronium ion? Actually, oxygen has lone pair of electrons like this, and it has given electrons to this hydrogen, which is electron deficient, and it has made a bond to form H3O plus. So this H3O plus can be written like this. See, O3H. Now oxygen, since it has given its electrons to this hydrogen, it is gaining a positive charge. So that's the reason why we put a plus here. After giving electrons, sharing electrons with hydrogen, now since oxygen is deficient of electrons, it's trying to pull back this electrons towards itself. So when this oxygen is trying to pull back the electron from hydrogen, and again hydrogen is left with a positive charge. Now it is in need of electrons. Now who is coming for the rescue? This carbon, because carbon has a double bond, and this carbons with the double bond, they come and help this hydrogen with electrons. So this hydrogen leaves this oxygen and goes to this carbon to form a bond. So what you get, this double bond will be written as such, and one of the single bonds will be made a bond with hydrogen, and bond C, and this carbon, since it has lost hydrogen, electrons to hydrogen, it is gaining a positive charge. So this is the product, and this is nothing but carbocation. After this hydrogen leaves this hydronium ion, now this goes out as water. So H2O. So in the first step, what is formed from the alkene? Carbocation, which means the carbon with a positive charge. Why this carbon gained a positive charge? Because these one of these bonds is shared with hydrogen. So this carbon is forming a bond with hydrogen. So this carbon is gaining a positive charge because it is deficient of electrons. Now what happens? This water molecule again sees this carbon with a positive charge and goes for the sharing of electron. Already it shared electrons with hydrogen because it was present as H plus. After giving the sharing the electrons, again the oxygen pulled back, and same way now what will happen, this oxygen seeing this carbon with a positive charge is going to help this carbon with the electron pair. See, this oxygen is sharing its electron with carbon because this carbon is electron deficient, so that's the reason we write a plus here. So now what you will get, write this part as such, C bond H and bond C, and you have two bonds here, put that bonds as such, and this oxygen sharing its electron with carbon is going to form a bond with carbon. So bond OH, everything as such. Now again oxygen gains a positive charge because it has shared its electron with carbon. Now oxygen is electron deficient. Actually oxygen is giving its electron to carbon, that's the reason it is gaining a positive charge. Already you know in the first step, if oxygen has a positive charge, what it will do? It will pull the electrons from the hydrogen to come out as H2O. So now what will happen? This part, this intermediate is written here, and oxygen with a positive charge is pulling this electron from hydrogen. Okay, so here it went out as water, and here it is going to stay with the carbon-carbon part. So that's how we get the alcohol. So now this hydrogen is electron deficient. Again a water molecule is coming for the rescue of this hydrogen, where the oxygen shares or gives its electron to this hydrogen. So see, what do we get? You get an alcohol. So this is the alcohol part, and this hydrogen is removed. We call this reaction as deprotonation, which means you are removing a hydrogen, and this hydrogen is joining with this water molecule and comes out as H3O plus. You are getting an alcohol and H3O plus in the last step. So these are the steps involved in the mechanism of acid catalyzed hydration. So you have to write it step by step. And remember one thing, arrow goes from negative towards the positive. See, everywhere from negative, Electron rich site to electron deficient site only the arrow will be. So make sure you draw these arrows correctly and learn a lesson here. Always go towards positivity. Leave behind all the negativity and always look for the positive side. So what is the step 1? Electrophilic attack by H3O plus on alkene so that you get a carbocation, or else we can call this as protonation of alkene because you're adding a H plus to that. Step 2, nucleophilic attack of water on carbocation. On this carbocation, water is attacking. So nucleophilic attack of water on carbocation. And the last step is deprotonation to form an alcohol. Here also we are using electrophilic attack and here we are using nucleophilic attack because here this is plus, this is an electrophile, here this is electron rich, so it is a nucleophile. So this is called as electrophilic attack and this is called as nucleophilic attack. And remember, hydration of acid catalyzed hydration of alkenes follows Markovnikov's rule. So the next method of preparing alcohols from alkene is by hydroboration oxidation. Let's take an alkene. I've taken propene here, treat it with diborane. And then with hydrogen peroxide in the presence of OH minus where it undergoes oxidation and you get propane 1-ol. You've taken 3 propene and you're ending up with 3 propane 1-ol along with that H3BO3, which is called as boric acid. And remember one thing, in the previous equation we took propene but we end up with propane 2-ol. So depending upon the reagents used, the product changes. So when they ask you to predict the product, make sure you're writing the proper product by looking at the reagents. If H plus and H2O is given, your product would be propane 2-ol because it follows Markovnikov's rule. When you are given this BH3 twice, which is diborane and hydrogen peroxide, you end up with propane 1-ol because this hydroboration oxidation of alkenes follows anti-Markovnikov's rule. And you know what is anti-Markovnikov's rule? The negative part of the addentum, okay, goes to carbon containing more number of hydrogen atoms. Here also the addentum is H plus and OH minus. OH minus will go to the carbon containing more number of hydrogen atoms. So it is following anti-Markovnikov's rule and that is the reason we are getting propane 1-ol here, whereas in the hydration of alkenes we are getting propane 2-ol. Now let's see what is actually happening and how do we get this product. Now I am taking out of the 3 propene, I am taking just 1 propene, CH3 CH double bond CH2 plus I have told you how to write this diborane. Actually the BH3 part is going to react. So I have taken only the BH3 part and I told you we can write this as BH2H. So now see CH3CH double bond CH2. Let's take this as this is H plus, the positive part of the addentum, this as the negative part. And as it is following anti-Markovnikov's rule, the negative part will go to carbon containing more number of hydrogen atoms. See, don't get confused with this. We are not going to take this into consideration. We are going to see only this carbon across this double bond. So comparing these two carbons, this carbon has more number of hydrogen. So this BH2 will go to this carbon and this hydrogen will go to this carbon. So what will you get? CH3 bond CH2 bond CH2 bond BH2. So this 2 is nothing but the hydrogen from here and BH2 here. In the second step, we are going to treat with another propene. We are actually taking 3, 1 reacted here and the second propene I am writing here. So propene is written here CH3 CH double bond CH2. Now look at this compound. Instead of 1H from BH3, you have this part. Now you can write this as CH3 CH2 CH2 BH bond H. So that H is going to be attached to this carbon and this entire part will attach to this carbon. So what you are getting, this, write this as such, CH3 CH2, where you get that 2 from this BH2, BH bond H, that H is getting attached here. So CH2 bond, this is written as such, CH2 bond, this entire part is going to be attached here, bond BH bond, see CH2, CH2, CH3. And in the next step, I'm going to treat with another propene. Out of the three, the third propene is written here. Now what will happen? Instead of this H, this part will be attached here. See, B, CH3, CH2, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. So you have three propyl groups. So instead of writing it as such, you can write as CH3, CH2, CH2 thrice, because you have three here, and boron. Now treating this with hydrogen peroxide and OH minus, which means it is going to undergo oxidation reaction. You are getting what? Three molecules of propane 1-ol and boric acid, which can be written as BOH thrice also. So in question, if they give you propene and this reagents, you need not write all these steps. You can directly predict the product and write it as such. So remember, if H plus and H2O is given, you will get propane 2-ol, because Markovnikov's rule is followed. Here, when they give diborane and H2O2, then you will get propane 1-ol, because anti-Markovnikov's rule is followed. So if you want to directly predict the product, see, H plus and OH minus, that's going to be added here to get propane 1-ol. So H is going to this carbon, OH is going to this carbon. Because OH minus, the negative part, is going to carbon having more number of hydrogens. So you're getting propane 1-ol. Now we have completed the preparation of alcohols from alkenes by two different methods. Now we will move on to the preparation of alcohols from carbonyl compounds. I told you already, when we say carbonyl compounds, we mean aldehydes, ketones, esters, and also acids. So when you take all these and treat it with any of these reducing agent, hydrogen in the presence of nickel, or hydrogen in the presence of platinum, or lithium aluminum hydride, or sodium borohydride, any of these reagents, you will get alcohols from this. So first one is aldehydes. Aldehydes can be written as RCHO. Whenever you reduce aldehydes, you will end up with primary alcohol. CH2OH is the primary alcohol part. So whenever they give it to you in exams, whatever alkyl part is there, as such you can write. Instead of this CHO, you have to write CH2OH. It's very easy to predict the product. Next, ketones, when they are reduced, they give secondary alcohols. So the alkyl part will be as such. Look here, we have two R's here. That R will be as such. The CO will be reduced to CHOH. So this is the secondary alcohol part. So next one is acids. Acids, just like aldehydes, are reduced to primary alcohols. Now see, this R and this OH will be as such. I am writing the general formula. In exams, they will give you specifically any compounds. Instead of R, they might give you CH3COOH or C2H5COOH, whatever it may be. That R part will come as such, and this OH will also be there. Instead of the C double bond O, you will get CH2. So the CH2OH is the primary alcohol part. So if you take an acid and reduce it with any of the reducing agents, you will get primary alcohol. Same way, if you take esters and reduce them, you will get primary alcohols. And how to write this esters are C double bond O, OR. So this RO will go out. Just, this is not the mechanism, I'm just telling this to make it easier for you to remember these products. So this R part will be as such. This C double bond O part will be changed into CH2OH, and this RO will go out as ROH. So whatever ester is given, remember, you have to break it here and take this RO as ROH and take this as RCH2OH. This C double bond O, just like here, will be changed into CH2OH, like here, not this one. This one is different because you have a OH already, but here you don't have. So C double bond O will be changed into CH2OH. And remember, you can convert acid into esters by treating acids with alcohol in the presence of H+. We call this reaction as esterification. So if the starting material is acid, you can directly convert it into primary alcohols. If they ask you to convert acids into esters and then to alcohols, what you will do, you will treat acids with ROH, which is an alcohol in the presence of an acid, to make it into ester. So alcohol to acid, and acid to ester, and then from ester to alcohols. So this is how we prepare alcohols from carbonyl compounds like aldehydes, ketones, esters, and acids by reducing them using proper reducing agents. The next one is preparation from Grignard reagents. And remember one thing, from preparing from Grignard reagents also we are going to use carbonyl compounds. We can prepare alcohols using Grignard reagents. You can treat this Grignard reagents with formaldehyde or any other aldehydes and ketones. If you take a formaldehyde and treat it with Grignard reagent, you will get primary alcohol. If you take any other aldehydes other than formaldehyde like acetaldehyde or benzaldehyde, you will get secondary alcohol. If you take ketones and treat it with Grignard reagent, you will get tertiary alcohol. Now I will show you the common reaction in which Grignard reagents are involved to prepare alcohols. Now this is the carbonyl compound. It can be formaldehyde or acetaldehyde or ketone, any carbonyl compound, because you will have this part. And this is the Grignard reagent RMgX. And here this R is more electronegative, electron withdrawing. So this gains a partial negative charge and this gains a partial positive charge. Now this oxygen, which is electronegative here, it will pull the electrons. Now this carbon again will get a positive charge and this will get a negative charge. So this negative will attack this positive. So R will get attached to carbon and this part which is positive will go to the negative because oxygen is more electronegative and has a negative charge. So what will you get? Write this C with these two bonds as such. Here put a bond and write this R. So C bond R, single bond O, to that write MgX. Now this is the addition product, intermediate. So CR double bond O, MgX. So this is O minus MgX. And in the next step you are going to treat it with water, which is hydrolysis. You are using water and breaking it. So when you treat it with water, there will be a cleavage here. And what is water? H plus and OH minus. H will go here and OH will come here. So what you will get? Write everything as such. C bond R bond OH. Here MgX and this OH in the bracket. So this is the byproduct and this is the main alcohol. Now let's see one by one. In this carbonyl part, if both are hydrogens, if you put H here, then this is formaldehyde. So if you take formaldehyde, what you will get? C, see you have an alkyl group R, C, you have two hydrogens here, CH2OH. So RCH2OH, that is nothing but primary alcohol. Again, if you take one H and one R, then it is any other aldehyde. For example, if it is acetaldehyde, one H, the other R will be CH3. So what you will get here? One CH3, one H. So what will be the product? Already you have R here from the Grignard reagent. So this R and one more CH3 from the aldehyde and this H. So CHOH is nothing but secondary alcohol. Same way, if both are R alkyl group, what will be the product? Here 2 R's and already an R from Grignard reagent. You will get 3 R and this part will be COH, which is nothing but tertiary alcohol. Now get back here. You are taking formaldehyde, HCHO. When you are asked to predict the products, you need not write all these intermediates. You can directly predict the product. See, you are taking formaldehyde and treating it with RMgX. It can be CH3MgBr, anything in the presence of H2O. So both steps together, what you will get? R, this R will come here. R, CH2OH. See, look here, you have C and 2H here. So CH2OH from this water, one hydrogen. So primary alcohol and the product, byproduct will be the same, MgOHX. So you are taking formaldehyde, you are ending up with primary alcohol. And next I have taken other aldehyde, which means instead of H, R is here. If it is CH3, then it is acetaldehyde. So RCHO plus RMgX. So what will be the product? This R will be as such and another R will get attached here, RRCHOH. So you will put a H here and this R here, that's all. So CHOH and 2 R here. So this is secondary alcohol and again the byproduct MgOHX. And the last one, we are taking a ketone and you know how to write a ketone, a carbonyl part and 2 alkyl groups. So this is ketone and here this is Grignard reagent RMgX. This R, as I told you, this can be CH3. So in the presence of water, what will be the product? You have a C R already written and one more R, and put this R also here and OH. See, C R R R OH. This is tertiary alcohol and the byproduct is MgOHX. So we have prepared alcohols from 3 different starting materials. So now before finishing up this video, we will see an example from the textbook. Example 11.2. Give the structures and IUPAC names of the products expected from the following reaction. So this is the question. Catalytic reduction of butanol. So they have given you a reaction and you have to predict what will be the product and write the IUPAC name. So if you take butanal and reduce it, catalytic reduction, what will be the product? First write what is butanal. But means 4 carbon atoms. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Al means aldehyde group. So in the last carbon CHO is there. And remember, when you are counting, if there is a carbon in the functional group, you have to include that also in the parent chain. So in the last carbon atom, okay, you have to write CHO. Don't put another bond and write again CHO, then that would be pentanal. This is butanal. So now write all the hydrogens here. So CH3, CH2, CH2, CHO. So this is butanal. Now you are treating it with lithium aluminum hydride because they have mentioned catalytic reduction. So this is a catalyst and it is a reducing agent. And you know, when you take an aldehyde and reduce it, this aldehyde part CHO will become CH2OH. And remember, this will remain the same. So CH3, CH2, CH2, and instead of this you are writing CH2OH. And what is the name? Butane 1-ol. The next one, hydration of propene in the presence of dilute sulfuric acid. What is propene? 3 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, prop. Ene means a double bond. So between any 2 carbon atoms, put a double bond. C, double bond C, single bond C. Now write the hydrogens. I have told you, usually at the ends it will be CH3, and the carbons in the middle it will be H2. If there is a double bond, reduce the hydrogen. So CH2, double bond CH, single bond CH3. So this is propene. Now they have given you, in the presence of dilute sulfuric acid, hydration, which means H2O and H+. And what rule will be followed? Markovnikov's rule. So the negative part, which is OH minus, will go to carbon containing less number of hydrogen atom. Don't look at these 2 carbons, look at these 2 carbons because the double bond is between these 2 carbons. So you will get 2 propanol or propane 2-ol. Last one is the reaction of propanone with methyl magnesium bromide followed by hydrolysis. What is propanone? Prop means 3 carbon atoms. On, ketone group, C double bond O. And remember, usually every time C double bond O, ketone group will come in the middle, not at the end of the chain. Like aldehyde, it can come at the end of the chain. So only possibility is this carbon. So put a C double bond O here and write CH3 and CH3. This is propanone, or it is also called as acetone, the common name. So you are treating propanone with methyl magnesium bromide, CH3 MgBr, in the presence of H2O. Just now we have seen how to prepare alcohols from ketone using Grignard reagent. This is the Grignard reagent. Now what will happen? Already you have 2 CH3 and 1 CH3 from here will go here and this will become OH. So you will get a tertiary alcohol, C, CH3, CH3, and this CH3 bond OH. So this is nothing but 2-methyl. See, 1, 2, 3. This is the chain, or you can choose 1, 2, 3. So in second carbon you have a methyl part, and again in second carbon you have a OH. So 2-methyl prop, because you have 3 carbon atoms. Propane 2-ol. This is the name of this compound. So this is how you have to predict the products. Thank you.